Yay! Hello, everyone. It's time to motivate. We are back with the season 3 finale of Booty Bear Talks, the podcast. As you already know, the title you all shall know. So, in this wonderful episode, I'm gonna jump right into it. I'm gonna give a wonderful story on everything about how this amazing guy went through trials and tribulations to get to where he's at today, and you all shall know at the end of the episode. But it's going to be a two-part series, so let's jump right on into it. How are you doing, Lauren? Meow meow.
I'm doing good.
Yo, very good, very good. I want to jump into this story because I'm going to talk about a handsome young man that went through trials and tribulations and to get where he's at today. And I'm going to start out by, well, he told you that he's from New York as well.
Mhm.
Very like full of bubbly, full of life. He loved music, he loved song. And he was living in the Bronx before he went to Brooklyn. He didn't stay very long though. So in this part, he always loved music. It kept him out of trouble. And I think through elementary school when he was living up here, um, going through class and stuff, he found he used to sing in a choir. Yes, he went to People's Christian Elementary School, and that was one of the best memories of his life, and it sometimes was the most kind of tumultuous, like some of the bad memories of his life,
Mhm.
because during those times, like I don't know if you remember back in the old days, like back in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s,
We
like
aren't that old.
hmm,
We aren't that old.
uh, uh, I know, shh, I know, but you remember like just like with teachers up here at the time, they would have if the kid was doing bad or probably forgot to do his homework or whatever, you would get paddle whoopings here and there. Yes, he went through some of that. And he
I
wasn't
should
that
not to not. I got something to say about that. I should have got my tail beaten in.
child.
Like,
Child, listen, he went through it, boo. Paddle whoopings. If you forgot like your homework, if you forgot to do a section part of it, or if you forgot to do a little bit of part of it, you were getting it. You were getting it. It was back in those days. You thought getting butt whoopings at home was worse. Try going to school
and get it twice.
and get it twice,
No.
and then come back home and reel from that trauma. But that was
Mm-mm.
crazy as fuck. But yeah, he was in the choir. He always made sure he stayed on top of his work, on top of his mother, making sure he did what he had to do. His mother was very strict on him as well. Loved him to death, but very strict as well. It was like, and I think that's where it kind of like in the beginning stages of how it wasn't him and his relationship with his mom wasn't doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, he lost his father at the age of 3 or 4 years old. So he was already going through so much grief. He didn't understood death, but he had a glimpse of what death looks like in its true form when his father got murdered. So he didn't know how to heal from that, and he talked to his when his grandparents was still around. He tried to talk about it, but his grandparents were still reeling from that pain as well. That was their son, their only child that they lost. So, with that said, he had music to turn to. He was listening to the greats of Whitney Houston and listening to Mariah Carey. He would sometimes try to sing alongside with them. And honey, he had a beautiful voice. You would think that, and he loved Tevin Campbell. So during those times, oh, trust me, those were his life saving people. Saved him through it got him through elementary school, all the struggles. He was kind of very popular in school as well. And until he started finding out that he wasn't like everybody else, he started having these weird, strange feelings. And I think he was around the age of eight, I think 7 or 8 years old. He started like, "Why I'm having these feelings?" And then that's when he met a friend, and we probably during the times where we were like, even during school and while he was probably we were hanging out, I think we were hanging out by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he started developing these weird things. Like, okay, he started to like guys, and this is when it was really, yeah, it was crazy. That's when we kind of feel like, okay, this is this weird feeling. Okay, he started tapping more into it. So, and his friend was really cool too,
Right.
and he was really sweet, and they just remained like they kept it a secret so nobody would ever know, because back in those times, yeah, it was just,
Mm-mm.
and they just kind of stopped, but they remained friends till throughout the time until he moved to North Carolina. That's when he came to Vanceboro. Not I. But he came to Vanceboro, and trust me, he was going through a lot with his stepfather. His stepfather used to punch him and beat him, so trying to make a man out of him and stuff like that. I don't think he knew at that moment, but I think in his honest opinion, he had a feeling that his stepdad might know. And
Right.
that's where the punching him and stuff, trying to make a man out of you, and the trauma shit began. It was too bad of a point that he couldn't take it anymore, and he just asked his mom one day, "I want to go to North Carolina." Um, and mom was like, "Okay," but didn't kind of understood it. But if his mom knew back then, it was gonna be World War III, and my mom, and not my mom, but his mom was working as a correction officer at the time, and she was not fucking having it, and she will fight, like she will beat that ass until the end of time. She will fuck his ass up, and she actually have told him she whooped his ass a couple of times. Yeah, because even during their divorce, but in the beginning stages of it, that's when he came to North Carolina to get away from that trauma, because he was getting punched and getting beat down from his stepdad. So it was a bunch of abuse at that moment. And then he went to Vanceboro Farm Life, thinking he would make new friends, not noticing down south of the racial stuff that will be happening. He got introduced to it very, very early, and people started disliking him. He just wanted to fit in. He wasn't trying to be like everybody. He just wanted to fit in and have little friends like all little kids should do. And he got teased mostly, teased how he was taught, teased how he was gay, and that's where it all started from. Was from Vanceboro Farm, like when on the school bus, actually on the way to, was it on the way to school or the way to going home? And they were just like, "Why you talk like that? Why do you do this?" Yeah, that's where it all started. It. And trust me, it's already tumultuous enough. I'm just like, I don't. He was like, I don't understand why you guys are teasing me. He's like, you sound, you're not supposed to be. You sound very different. Sounds like very girly. Like, and you know how ignorant people are back in those days in North Carolina, especially in Vanceboro. So it was that rough, and I think he didn't want to tell his grandmother what was going on, because his grandmother wasn't having it either, and um, on top of that, it was just rough, really bad. They would tease him tremendously over and over and over. And I think we went to I think till he and his grandma went to Newburgh. I forgot what day it was, but it was like, it was weird. Like he just got down like maybe 4 or 5 months into North Carolina, and then on top of that, I think his grandma had a new place in New Bern, which was Fox Chase Village, and guess what? They got the trailer, and we left Vanceboro like unexpectedly, because he was already doing choir and stuff. When he sang, they was like, "Oh wow, he's a really good singer." And I think when he left to go to New Bern, it was just really short, brief. Then went to JT Bar right in the middle of the fall semester, beginning of the school year, like towards the middle of the school year, because it was almost about to be December. I think it was like November of '95. Yeah, sure was. That's when he went to JT Barber, and that's why he met his future classmates of 2003. And here's the funny part. That's where the fuckery began. while he was getting to know everybody. Mind you, he didn't know what being a faggot was. He doesn't know. But all these kids and the grown-ups kind of knew what it was. Because he's from New York. You don't know the lingo that they do down south and shit like that. Because he wasn't teased when he was back in New York. That's another reason why. He just really didn't know. But people say, oh yeah, he's a liar, da 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 da. No, he just didn't really understand it. So, long story short, I think one chick, her name was Fatima Becton, she was teasing him alongside with her friend. I think her name was Carnation Miller. Teased that young boy and spread a bad rumor about him, saying, "Oh, he asked this such and such person out." And mind you, him and this guy was really like best friend, like a brother to him. He looked him as a brother, like very respect. He always respected him and looked him as like an older brother because he didn't have no friends like that. He was very much a loner. And until that situation happened, told him that situation turned out to be a lie because he would never do that to him. She told the lie to what's his name? Told him to, I think I'll never forget. I think his name was Bobby Blake at the time. Told it to him, and he got very pissed off at the boy and beat him up and got chased for believing a lie. And then that's how the whole bullshit began. That's where all the bullying all started, from that one individual that started it. And he doesn't know that this person's still alive or whatever till this day. But that's where how the nonsense really began. It really was like the teasing, the faggot being, the calling him the faggot, calling him a bundle of sticks, calling him all sorts of type of name. He was getting teased in school, even during class, during JT Barber. And I think during those moments, he felt like more of an outcast. That's what the outcast shit started began. And it keeps singling him out. And that's in the midst of all of it, he found taking dance class, because I think we had dance class. I was like surprised they had dance. And I came right in the middle of it. So when I did dance, well, not I did dance, but when he did dance, if he found for peace, he already knew how to sing, but now he was learning how to do movement. He had a little movement. He was a little talented, and his teachers understood him and everything. And I think even the teachers got a little concerned. Was like, "Hey, are you okay?" He kind of brushed it off and said, "Hey, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay." But deep down, he wasn't.
Never.
He wasn't. He wasn't okay. He missed his old friends from New York. He missed things that were familiar to him, but he kind of knew that he couldn't go back because he didn't want to go back to the abuse of his stepdad. I mean, how would any child feel like going through beating, like getting punched and hit, abused by their own stepdad, and then going to school, being abused at getting butt whippings the next? Come on, you already put the kid through enough. Like, what more do you want? Damage do you want to do to him? It was to the point one day when he came home from school. I think after he got beat up, his grandma went to the boy's house. They were neighbors. They literally lived like 2-3 trailers down the road. Yeah, in Fox Chase. His grandma, his dad, and his dad was kind of like told, like, "Hey, what's going on?" Mind you, I didn't do anything. He was like, not I, but he didn't do anything. Yeah, he didn't do nothing. He kept expressing like, "I would never do that to disrespect you." He said the whole class knew about it, not noticing he got lied to. He got lied to. He didn't know, all because of what two jealous people started it. And that's when people, like I say it in a podcast, when you spread a rumor or lie about someone, especially as a kid, they don't know about it. especially they don't know the lingo and they don't do things like that. Like he went through a lot. Like people can be they'll believe a lot. When he was living in North Carolina, especially in New Bern and Vanceboro, they'll believe 9 times out of 10 a lie than the truth. And then when the truth do finally come out, everybody looks stupid and can't take accountability and hide their hands too.
I'll tell you the most certain truth is death.
Mm-hmm.
But they will believe a beautiful lie, which is called life. Very.
Mm-hmm. Like
Somebody
you
can say
said.
something and they run with that. They run with that crap all the
Mm-hmm.
time. You weren't
Mm-hmm.
even figuring out who you were yet. You just knew you were different at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Or the boy thought he was different at this point. You or whoever, that's the same situation you went through. You knew you were different. This boy knows he's different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're all different.
We're all different. We're not meant to be the same. And we've said it numerous times throughout the podcast through this season.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of it, um, he got teased all the way, I think, till because he was in 5th grade at the time. And he was getting ready to go into middle school. Now, when he got into Grover C. Fields, oh, the fuckery. Whoa. Child, you will think they will leave the rumor alone.
No,
Uh,
no, that follows you all the way. I don't care.
that follows you all the fucking way. And I'm like, and he's like, and you that kind of
This
think
was
about it.
this was last year. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Are you serious?
find something else to talk about.
Come to find out, he went to a different school, and the boy went to Grover C.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he met some of his other future classmates from other elementary school, like Bendy Quinn, Trent, Trent, Trent Woods Elementary, all that jazz. That's where he met other classmates that's going to be alongside with him, being the future class of 2003. And then when they heard of that rumor, some of them don't know, some of them knew. Most of them knew that little inner circle. Some of them don't know. They started believing the shit too, and the bullying got even worse. And I just had enough one day. I think one guy tried to tease him, and he tried to fuck, and he just kept pushing buttons until I literally knocked his ass out with a damn toboggan. Yeah, I did. I slapped the shit out of him.
What is toboggan?
Not I, but he slapped the shit out of him with a toboggan. The beanie. They call him toboggan back in the day. Beanie.
Toboggan. I am amused at this person knocked this bit with a toboggan.
Mm-hmm. With a damn beanie, I meant to say. They call it beanies now.
Straight slap. How do you?
Yeah, he kept pushing. I just said, leave me alone. Boop. In front of and everybody was just like, they was like, oh my God, they never saw that side of him. And he got punched back, and I didn't cry. Well, not I didn't cry, but he didn't cry. Keep saying I, not I. But he didn't cry nothing. Because he realized how strong he was too. But they didn't fail to realize as well. They didn't see it. But he saw within himself how strong he was. But it got very worse at that point. You thought he was going through it worse in school. He was going through it worse at home. It was just all the bullying that he went through. His grandma didn't understood or didn't take the time to sit down. Like, what's really going on? Like, she would really whoop his ass. Like, you ain't do your work? Okay, boop, boop, boop. How many times I told you? How many times I told you, do your fucking homework? Why are you acting like this? How many times I told you? And then when his mother will call to check in on him, that wasn't even worse. She would yell and flip at him. So he was going through worse shit at home and in school. So make it make sense. Because they didn't know he was that badly bullied. And they wish, like, sometimes I wish people would like take the time, like, if your kid is being bullied, like, don't whoop their ass, just like have a conversation with them. They'll tell you everything. But you know how grown folks love to sit there and say, oh, I don't have to listen. I don't have to listen to no reason. That's how you fuck up. That's how you fuck up your shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you fuck up your shit. And
Oh, yeah.
that's where a lot of that, I think that's where how people started moving out their houses or getting kicked out and shit at a tender young age because of shit like that. One of them, I can't speak for all, but this is one of the examples. But he was going through stuff in school. He was badly bullied, and his grades suffered. Like, he would do good in school, and then in the middle of the semester, that's when all the bullying started happening. And there was a couple of, I think he had a couple of people that would stand up for him and say, "Hey, yo, leave him alone. He don't bother nobody." And they would still pick on him because he was always left out in dances. That's why he never go to the school dances and whatever. He sat on the sidelines. No one really liked him because they believed this rumor that was going on. So it traveled through middle school all the way up to, then when we got into 8th grade, that's when he met another boy in New Bern, North Carolina. And boy, if he revealed his name, ooh, people from all around, child, the class will be gagging. They be like, "Wait, that's not how you did." I'll be like, "Yo, they don't want to know what his name is." But he went to Robertson Fields as well. I think he was in the 7th. He was in the 7th, and the other guy was in the 8th grade. And I think that's when he found his wonderful, the feelings of liking boys came back to him. And trust me, he used to, I think he used to live in Craven Terrace, if I'm not mistaken. He used to live in Craven Terrace, and trust me, they would not believe he did try that. And yes, he did try it with the boy. And trust me, they shared their first. I think he was an outcast too, and I was an outcast. But then he kind of we just kind of talked and stuff, and he felt some kind of solitude. And I think the boy understood him for who he was, and I think he knew who he was as well. And then on top of that, they just kind of glanced at each other and then shared his first kiss with him. Mm-hmm. Honey, and he knew how to kiss.
It's your first time actually feeling love, or that person's feeling love.
Mm-hmm. And he showed him happiness, and then he gave him a kiss. He gave him 2 kisses back before he ran out the boy's bathroom. Yeah. He was really he felt loved for the very first time. And who would think that he would feel this way?
Right.
And trust me. And then he sat on, and then we kind of just sat next to each other and
Kept it under wraps.
kept it under wraps. Because he didn't want anybody to find out that he messed with the guy that got teased in school. He wanted to be popular like everybody else. And I think
important.
That's what
taught you that in school. Mm-hmm. I think I taught you that in school.
Yeah.
I was like, don't worry about that shit.
Yeah, you taught me well. You're like, don't worry about that shit.
Don't worry about that shit.
But until I think after I graduated and got into high school, that's when it got super brutal. The teasing got brutal. I'll never forget it. One of the popular kids back in Grover-C, at that time, I think his name was Corey. He would tell him, yo, he's not going to fit in high school. He's not going to fit in. And it's funny he would say that. He would say that to him. He's like, they'll tease him like he won't fit in high school. He would fit. But people fail to realize he wasn't meant to fit in. He wasn't meant to fit in.
Nope.
That's what people had a hard time figuring out. No, they ain't stupid. People are not meant to fit in. And I think once he wanted to be so bad just to fit in, but everybody started teasing him. Oh, look at the faggot. Look at the faggot. Go get this gay nigga up out of here. There were times it got so bad that he wanted to end his life. And I think this is when his cousin was down there in North Carolina as well. She went to New Bern High, and they all knew his cousin very well, but treated him like shit, which didn't make no sense to me because you treated him like shit. You're treating the cousin like shit. That's family. Like, what would you? Why would you do that?
Because you want your family, just because you're blood, don't mean you're your family.
Mm-hmm.
That just means you're related.
Yeah. So I don't think she knew at the time, but I think she had an idea, but we just didn't talk about it. I didn't talk about it very much because I just want to keep it under wraps. And his grades suffered because of the bullying. I think it kind of from freshman year and sophomore year, it kind of got, I did really well, and then it plummeted because of the bullying. But then I rose it right back up before the end of the school year, and I'd be doing really well. So he couldn't concentrate as much as he wanted to because of all the stuff that was going on. Rumors were spread about him. Some familiar classmates that he went to elementary school and middle school with travel him all the way through high school, and you would think we will all be mature enough at that time to stop the bullshit. To the point, even the French vanilla boys, you know me, I'm not racist. They would sometimes, some of the white boy
French
football,
vanilla boys. That's all they are.
white boy, yeah. Some of the white boys do this. Will join up with some of his familiar classmates and tease him.
That's all they are, is boys.
I'm like, and this at this time, as you look back on it, he was like, what the fuck? This is when y'all want to come together when y'all hate a motherfucker that's gay, that doesn't even know that he's gay. I'm like, are you serious? How do you, like, the fuck? But y'all don't get like the same energy when it comes to these racist white folk down in New Bern? Are we, huh? Make it make sense.
I don't see in color. I don't even see color. I don't see sexuality in color. I don't do that. I'm gonna tell you why, because if you're a good person, you're a good person. If you ain't, I'll kick it with somebody else. I don't give a fuck. Your color has no barrier on who you are as a person.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't.
But it was crazy. Yo, it was crazy. He was trying to like, are we serious here? This is when they can come together? I said, wow. He's like, wow, fuckery. And that's when.
But yeah, hold on a minute, Ray. I remember when I was in high school, you had a little gothic crew or whatever, but you had lesbians and gays in there, or lesbian, gay, bisexual, and that was okay. But guess what? They were white.
Mm-hmm. But if you were this, it was an abomination.
It was something different. So people are scared of something they don't understand.
Yeah, and treated people like shit too. And he met some incredible people too during his journey throughout that school. I think he didn't start meeting his two other cool friends until we was like in our junior and senior year in high school, and they just connected. We just all connected,
mm-hmm.
And they knew of the rumor, but they were like, "Yo, he's mad cool. He don't bother nobody." And all the popular ones that were popular that teased him already in varsity football team. They're already doing track, basketball. They already got girlfriends and stuff. They were teasing him also. Oh, why you don't got a girlfriend and this, that, and the third. Oh, you need a girl. Mind you,
you don't need nothing. At that age, you don't need nothing. You need to just worry about school and trying to get somewhere.
And get out.
Because you ain't going to be, in 10 years, them motherfuckers ain't going to mean shit. You ain't
It's
gonna know half their names in 10 years. Why are you worried about what they think of you? Period.
Mm,
And I know we all been there where we're in high school. We want validation. We want to make friends, all that stuff.
but it
But to be
didn't happen.
honest with you, are you really gonna need them?
Nah, you're only gonna need one.
Yeah, you only gonna need one. But literally, you're only gonna meet one best friend that's gonna stay throughout your whole
Mhm.
life.
And I think from that moment on, I think he met another girl that was in who was learning. I think he was learning. He had to do like Mary test stuff, test remedials and stuff because he really wasn't good at tests, and that's where he met his amazing best friend in the whole wide world, and they just vibed. Had a class together, and she knew who he was. Like she knew he'd been through some shit, but kind of just like, yo, you're my best friend,
Mm-hmm.
and claimed it. And she stood up for him and was like, yo, leave that motherfucking damn boy alone. He don't fucking bother you, you stupid cunt. Leave him the fuck alone. He don't bother nobody. Oh, I don't want him touching me. That's not who the fuck he is, you stupid fucker. And I think when
I'd be that person. Be like, he don't want you anyway.
sure
He
damn
don't want,
no.
he don't want nothing straight. No how.
No.
What is that?
And that right there, people, they will tell you how gay they are. If they react like that, they on the fruity side. If they act like that homophobic and shit, it reveals who they are. 9 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't want nobody to find out.
Nope.
But fast forward, they became the best of friends, and the rest was history. And she helped him through junior and senior year. When he graduated, the same people that laughed and teased at him, they didn't know that his mom and his aunt and his grandma from New York, well, his mom and aunt from New York, came down for his graduation. They knew the grandma, but they didn't. Some of them knew my grandma, but they have never met my mom. I mean, not my mom, but his mama and his aunt. So he said a couple of goodbyes to them, and it was just like he had it very rough. And I think once he got out and graduated, they didn't know that after you did all that teasing, what you put out in the universe, you get back to them.
Tenfold.
And that didn't happen like until like I think after he got out, he tried craving again. He met some new friends, and he didn't have his license yet. He was trying to get his license. It was just a struggle to get his license because he just wanted to. I think the laws changed at that time that you were just gonna go ahead and get straight like after you passed your driver's ed.
Hmm.
Honey, you got your insurance at that point. I said, oh holy, it was like, oh holy fuck.
You gotta have insurance here to get your driver's license. Like I have to add my daughter
Mm-hmm.
to even.
Get it.
Yeah, it's stupid. But yet she hasn't even. I haven't even figured out if she's gonna pass the test. It's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid.
Mm-hmm. It's dumb as hell. But
I think you should add her after she gets her license. That way, you know if she's going when you go to spend that money.
hell yeah, that's what I think too. It's like we never understood the North Carolina laws. We never understood it, and I was like, that's dumb. But it's like it made a challenge for me because it was a challenge for him because he had to sometimes walk to college, going home.
How bad do you want it?
How bad you want it? And he was
Mm-hmm.
still trying to figure it out. And he had the grit and he walked. And people were like, do you need a ride? I said, no, I'm almost home. No, I'm almost home.
I wish you had a called that particular, or I wish that person had called a particular someone to come get him, because I'd help your friends out.
Mm-hmm. And I think, he didn't have a cell phone back at that time, but now he kind of like, when it kind of like came to college and stuff, like I think his second year, that's when he started getting the cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Because I needed to stay in contact with people, so he needs to stay in contact with people. I keep saying I, but it's not I. But But yeah, he went through that as well. And then come to find out, he went and I think during his second year of college, because he was doing web design. He went to do web design, but come to find out, he didn't want to do that. He wanted to change majors. Because I was like, this is not what I want to do. I wanted to do food. I want to have my own business. I want to have my own bakery. He knew what he wanted to do. And he worked his first job at Wendy's, made a little money, and his grandma was saving money for him because he didn't have a bank account at that time. Not noticing that the grandma was stashing money for him to keep from him. Yeah. Oh, his grandma was slowly taking advantage of him. Yeah. She's like, oh, they was I think some of his family was like, oh, give your money to your grandma so you can stash it, so she can stash it. I was like, okay, he didn't think nothing of it. She just gonna and she'll when it's time for him to go or whatever, she'll give him his money. I think by the time he did that, work that little Wendy's, because he had the money to get his insurance, because he was about to go get his license, and his mother was like, you're going back to New York. You need to go figure it out. You need to come to New York. I ain't got time. Yeah, and it's like you need to go back to New York, figure it out. And I think that's when his mom let him, like, we're going back to New York like now. And that's, I think, and this was at the time where we met this certain individual called Brittany into the family, because his mother started hanging out with him. And from that moment, his grandma did not like her. His grandma did not like her at all. It was verbal abuse after verbal abuse. And I think his mother told everything how talk about how his son was disrespecting her and stuff, which he never did. He just the mom kept yelling at him and started spreading some. He was going through shit at home, more in depth that his best friend didn't know. Let this girl into her mother's house and everything. This is when he moved back to Vanceboro. Yeah, after he decided not to go, knew that Craven Community College wasn't for him, and they just moved into the new house that his mother put down there at the time. And it was just words from here on there. And I think his grandma started figuring, like, she didn't like about him, because I think grandma warned his mother about her, because she did a little shady thing to one of his cousins that stole from her. Used to live with his cousin, and stole from her, and started hanging with mom, his mother. And that's where all that fuckery kind of began. But yeah, and then that's where the fuckery began when he came back to New York City. But we're gonna pause this story for now. This is only part 1 of the season 3 finale. I said, well, we will be right back right after these messages, okay? So it's still part 1, but we're gonna have to stop it here for now. We're going to a little bitty commercial break, and we'll be right back, bitch. Okay? Meow 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 meow. We'll be back.